Hey guys, good morning. So I know we've been out of school for a while, so we talked about scientific notation last week, and we had one more day, but unfortunately we were not in school. So today I'm going to do a recap just really quickly of scientific notation so that way you can do the activities for today. So again, scientific notation is a way to express either really large numbers or really small numbers. An easy way to distinguish between the two is the exponents. Again, if you have something raised to a positive exponent, it's going to indicate a really large number. If something is raised to the negative exponent, then it's going to really represent a really small number. So, for example, if I had 3 8/10 times 10 to the 5th power, okay, again, my exponent is positive, so I know that I'm going to have a really large number, meaning I'm going to move my decimal place to the right. So here, again, I have 3 8/10. And again, remember, the decimal tells me, the exponent tells me how many place values I'm going to move my decimal. And in this case, it's positive, so I'm going to move to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to fill in those zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here, my new number, and again, we can write it out this way, is 380,000. Okay, with the negative exponents, same thing. What if I said 4 2/10 times 10 to the power of -4? Okay, so again, seeing that my exponent is negative, I know that I'm going to be working with a really small number. So instead of moving my decimal to the right with the positive exponent, I'm going to move my decimal to the left to indicate a small number, which is less than 1. So here, 4 2/10, and again, I'm going to move to the left because I'm working with a small number, and my exponent tells me how many times I'm going to move my decimal, in this case 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again, I'm going to fill in those zeros. So again, and you can always double check with your calculator. So here, I have my calculator pulled up. I'm going to turn it on, and this just works like a regular calculator if you were to have one at school. So I'm going to check 3 8/10 times 10. And again, this little caret is our way we get our exponents to the power of 5. And so for, again, yes, it double checks 380,000, and I also got 380,000. To check my negative exponent, I'm going to take 4 2/10 times 10, and again, to get your exponent to the power of -4. Oh, and so here, I think it's because I clicked the minus sign, so not the negative sign. So again, be very careful. Okay, that's an easy way to make a mistake. Times 10. And again, I should hit this negative sign down here below the 3, -4. And clearly you can also see the difference here in your calculator. This one looks like a minus sign, and then this one is a smaller negative sign. And so it gives me this small number. Okay, so what else can we do with these exponents? So one way is to compare. So if I wanted to compare and decide, okay, if I'm comparing, I know that I'm going to use less, greater than, or equal, or and less than, those inequality symbols. So for example, if I had 4 2/10 times 10 to the power of 3, and let's say 3 5/10 times 10 to the power of 6. Okay, an easy way to compare is you want to look at their exponents. Now, these are both positive exponents, so I know I'm dealing with really large numbers. And again, here is to the power of 3, and this one is to the power of 6. So automatically, I know that this one is going to have, this one is going to have more place values, okay, than this one, which is going to mean that it's going to be a really large number. But again, you can always double check and put them in your calculator. So here we're going to go ahead and, but I'm going to predict that this one is going to be larger because the exponent is here to the power of 6 and this one is only here to the power of 3. But let's double check. So I'm going to take 4 and 2/10. Actually, I'm going to clear this really quick. Okay, so 4 and 2/10 times 10 to the power of 3. And here I get 4,200. Okay, so again, because I only moved that decimal 3 times this way, here I'm going to move it 6 times this way, so that's why I'm predicting that I'm going to get this larger number. 3 and 5/10 times 10 to the power of 6. And here I get, let me double check my zeros. So here I get 3,500,000. And so again, an easy way, if you don't want to go ahead and put these in the calculator and double check, an easy way to compare would be using the exponents. Here, this is a 3, this is 6. 6 is greater, okay? So this one would be less than, okay? What if the exponents were the same? So what if I said 2 and 5/10 times 10 to the power of 4 versus, let's say, 7 and 3/10 times 10 to the power of 4. Now here, I can't just look at their exponents to compare them because they have the same exponents. So when the exponents are the same, then you want to look here at their actual number. Okay, so now I'm essentially comparing 2 and 5/10 and 7 and 3/10. And 7 and 3/10 is larger than 2 and 5/10. So 2 and 5/10 would be less than 7 and 3/10. Okay, what if the exponents were negative? So what is that? What if I said 1 and 2/10 times 10 to the power of -3? And what if then I said 2 and 3/10 times 10 to the power of negative, let's say, 4. Okay, now with the negative exponents, you have to be really careful because, again, you're working on the opposite side of the number line. So the further you are from 0, essentially the smaller you are. So here, when I'm comparing their exponents, I have -3 and -4. Okay, again, when you're working on the opposite side of the 0 on the number line, again, the further you are from 0, the smaller you are. So in this case, -4 is further from 0. Okay, so this one is actually smaller than -3. So here, I'm going to predict that 1 and 2/10 times 10 to the power of -3 is greater than. I want to predict it's greater than because, again, just by looking at their exponents, I know that -3 is greater than -4. But again, you can always double check in your calculator. So I'm going to clear 1 and 2/10 times 10 to the power of -3. And again, please make sure you hit the negative sign. Let me hit this caret top. Please make sure you hit the negative sign on the exponent versus the subtraction symbol. If you hit the subtraction symbol just like earlier, you would get an error. Okay, so here I have this small number here, and again, I'm going to put, I want to also look at my second number, times 10 to the power of -4. Okay, and again, it gives me that E, but again, you essentially can come in and move the decimal yourself as well. So here it tells me to move it 4 times to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and fill in those zeros. Okay, so now we can compare our numbers, and yes, again, this number here on the left is larger than this number here on the right. Okay, and The same thing would happen if the exponents were the same, even if they were negative. So then you would look at their, so if I said 2 5/10 times 10 to the negative 3, and 7 3/10 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Here, if their exponents are the same, you really can't use those to compare. So then you want to look at their number here. Okay, which one is bigger and which one is smaller? Here again, 7 3/10 is larger. So this number would automatically, but then you're working with, then you have to think about negatives, and they're smaller. So even though they're both the same, you have to think which one of these is further away from 0. 7 3/10 is further away from 0 than 2 5/10. So here this would be 2 5/10 is actually greater than 7 3/10. Okay, so before we go, I just wanted to do a recap of converting standard form to scientific notation. Okay, and again, remember, you can always use a calculator to double check. So here I have 452,000, and I want to write it in scientific notation. And again, this is a very large number, so I already know that my exponent is going to be a positive exponent just by looking at the number. Okay, and again, remember, that's an easy indicator. So here, I'm going to take my standard form. I'm going to rewrite it over here. So first step, I'm going to locate the decimal in my number. So again, this is a whole number, so I know that my decimal is going to be at the end here. And then I'm going to move it however many place values until I get a number between 1 and 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know it's going to fall between this 4 and 5 here. So then this is my number. And I know that I'm going to multiply it by a power of 10. And remember, to get the exponent, you just count the number of place values you moved. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, it's going to be positive because I'm starting with a very large number. So my exponent is 5. Okay, if we were starting off with a very small number, again, that would indicate that my exponent is negative. So again, I know that if I'm starting with a small number, okay, I know that I'm going to be using a negative exponent. So here, same thing. I'm going to rewrite this number. First things first, you always want to locate the decimal within your number. Here, it's given to us because it's already a very small number. And we're going to move it, again, the same number, or however many place values, in order to get a number between 1 and 10. So if I move it here, again, still not quite between 1 and 10. Still not quite, so I'm going to move it one more time, which puts it between the 3 and the 5. And then I get 3 and 57/100ths, which is a number that's between 1 and 10. So there's my number. And then again, I know I'm going to multiply it by some power of 10. And again, I'm going to count my place values to get my exponent, 1, 2, and 3. But again, remember, you started with a small number, so your exponent is going to be negative 3. So hopefully this recap helped you guys. Hopefully I'm going to see you at the live session today at 2 o'clock. Remember to click on the link. And I wanted to show you really quick an app if you don't have a calculator and if you have an Apple phone. It's called Calculator X. It works exactly like the scientific calculators. If you go to your app store and you search for TI-84 Plus calculator, it's the very first one that pops up. It just says graphing calculator. And when you open it, it looks exactly like this. So then you're able to work with these exponents. For example, if I wanted to check 3.5 times 10, and again, it has the same caret top symbol, to the power of 3, and I just press enter, then it would give me the answer there. So hopefully I will see you today at 2 for the live session. And if you don't have that calculator, go ahead and download it now so that way you can check your work. All right, have a good day, guys.